We all have places we go that make us feel most alive. Sometimes it's a destination. Sometimes it's a pursuit. It's difficult to define, but when we're there, we know it. Time slows down. Smiles come easier, and a sense of calm is medicine for the soul. Now we follow Bassmaster Elite Series angler Brandon Lester as he chases bass from Mexico to back home. This is his element.
I grew up in I would say an outdoor family. My dad, my granddads hunted, fished, so I was exposed to that from a very young age. And to be honest with you, I was that kid, like third grade, when the teacher asked you, what do you want to do when you grow up? I straight up told him, I want to be a professional bass fisherman. Now back then, I didn't exactly know what that meant, but that's what I told him. In high school, I fished my first bass tournament when I was a junior in high school. Fished with a good friend of mine back then. He owned a boat, his family owned a boat, so we started fishing local club tournaments there around my house. Went to college at UT Chattanooga, fished in college there, fished in a couple of collegiate national championships all the way in Texas, got to travel around, and that's where I really kind of learned what being a professional fisherman was. It's not just about fishing, but it's also about, you know, sponsors and in a sense kind of running a business, and that's where I kind of learned that. So college fishing sort of set me up, you know, and then after that I came back home, fished the Bassmaster Opens for the first year in 2012 with hopes of qualifying for the Bassmaster Elite Series, of course. And my first year in 2012, I think I finished 23rd in points or so. You had to finish in the top 5 to get an Elite Series bid. So 2013, I decided I'd give it another chance, and I ended up winning the Southern Open's points title in 2013. So 2014, I got my invite, the first invite to the Elite Series, and I've been there ever since. Every day I'm just glad to be there. So right now I'm sitting right here on the shores of Lake El Salto. I'm telling you, over the past several years, I've been as far north, south, east, and west in the U.S. as you can go. And I've seen a lot of good fisheries, but this is the best place I've ever been in my life. The cool part about that is, wherever you go, a bass is a bass, and they all act the same. That is so awesome. Yeah, something that definitely helped me get to where I am is family support. You know, starting with my parents. My parents never once questioned me. I remember when my dad bought me my first boat, he actually sold a little piece of property that we had on a private lake, and that's what he bought the boat with. And I remember I was old enough to understand about money, and boats are expensive. And I said, Daddy, I don't want you to do this if it's something that's going to put you in a bind at all, you know. And he said, son, I just feel like I'm investing in your future. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. If you're willing to put the time in, if you're willing to put the work in, you can absolutely make it happen. I mean, I'm living proof of it. I am. You know, for me personally, I put my faith first, I put my family second, and I put fishing third. And that's how I got to where I am. And that's the honest to goodness truth. It's funny, I think about it a lot. I put my boat in, my morning routine, like during practice for an Elite Series tournament, I go to the nearest gas station, fill up my boat, I get me a cup of coffee, I put my boat in at sunrise, and just go down the lake. And I often think a lot of people don't even get up early enough to see a sunrise. And I think that's really sad, to be honest with you, because that's the prettiest part of the day, in my opinion. Fishing is definitely my number one passion, and that's why it's my element.
Though they are often very different, each of us shares our own unique connection with the outdoors, a passion that drives us, defines us, and centers us. It's where we are most at home. It's where we are in our element. What is your element?